Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maor. This channel is about the ascension process and awakening of our spiritual innate body. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to talk and converse with your DNA, how to activate different parts of your DNA, how to heal yourself, how to communicate better with your body, and many other things. So, stay tuned. Now, we all know about the placebo effect. Not a lot of people are talking about the placebo effect and how we can actually utilize it. But we do know that most modern medicine comes out only after it has been truly tested, blind tested, and placebo effected tested. In other words, we understand that the human consciousness has an effect by our belief system on our body. Now, you have no idea how powerful you are. They might have told you many times in your life that you're very powerful. They might have told you that you have choices, but nobody has actually told you that you are the master, an awakening master. Now, in the Ascension video series, I actually go on to explain why we are the masters and why we have so much control over different things in our life, but we're not using that control. Everybody's telling us that our thoughts and our beliefs and our emotions control our reality, but nobody explains why. Now, the human DNA has the same effect as we do. We contract or we expand, meaning when we feel good and positive, then we expand and we're happy. When we are feeling negative, somebody hurt us, we've been insulted, or we just feel bad for any reason, we contract. So the same thing happens with our DNA. The DNA is more than just a molecule. There's a reason why all the scientists are telling us that 95% of the DNA is junk DNA. That's because they don't know how to read it. They don't know what other type of information is already embedded into the DNA. And what I'm going to tell you isn't going to surprise you. It's that you can directly communicate with your DNA. You are already doing it by directly communicating with your body, but you had no idea who was listening. Because what you were doing, you were actually just yelling, but your DNA is what was listening in the background. And your DNA is what is affected by it. Now, what is the DNA if you don't know? The DNA holds, our 23 chromosomes actually hold all the genetic information and the communication information and data of how we communicate with our higher self. It is like a pointer to our body, like in the movie The Matrix, when they had to pinpoint Neo. It's like the pointer to our thoughts, to where our higher consciousness resides. That's our DNA. It's a signature. It actually emanates. It actually vibrates in a frequency that is uniquely our own. Now, the reason that it works is actually alignment. Alignment means, very, very short, because I've made a few videos about alignment and how it actually works. Alignment actually means that the smaller particles that are embedded within the entity or the particle, which is you, actually have to align their will and intention to your will and intention. And this is by that we are actually letting go of our own will and we surrender. So inside yourself, there's the DNA, which is a molecule. It's sitting inside your core, the core of your cells, which is sitting inside the different organs, okay? Or inside your bloodstream, whatever. And then you have yourself. Now, when you have an intention, when you have an alignment, when you have a belief, those cores, your DNA, your cells, and your organs have to align with that intention, with that belief. And this is why so many people like me, they just know that they're not going to get sick. They know that they can't, that we have that belief within ourselves. Why? Because I told my body, I am the master. It's not that you are the slave, but I am the master. I'm the one that makes the decisions. I raised my phone and I actually called my body and I told him, body, I don't want to be sick. Body, I want to live a longer life. There's an effect that happens every time a cell divides itself. And the effect is that our telomeres, which is the end part of the DNA strand itself, actually shortens just a little bit. In other words, when we age, each cell actually, when it duplicates itself, when it divides itself, actually loses a small part of itself. And that's the reason why people age and people die. We start aging after 30. You see men get this little belly, start losing their hair. You see women go put a little bit more makeup, people start taking care of themselves just a little bit more. Imagine what you could do if you could ask your DNA to just prolong its life, to divide less cells over time, to control your metabolism, your metabolic rate. Imagine what you could do if you could tell your DNA directly that you would like to extend your life by having less divisions. Or imagine what you could do if you could tell your DNA that you'd like to change, you'd like a slimmer fit. I'm not telling you that you can directly tell your DNA that you would like to be shorter or taller, but I'm also not telling you that you can't. I do believe that people that have the right belief can actually modify their DNA. And by the way, science has proven, beyond a reasonable doubt, that our DNA does change over time. So how much control do we have over that? It's very easy. All you have to do is talk to your body. Think about it like, just calling your body and talking. But who is listening on the other side? Your DNA is listening. That pointer, that reference that recognizes you inside the illusion of reality. Now, what can you talk about? Health, your tiredness, release of serotonin, endorphins. You can control the level of melatonin that is actually exerted in your body. You can actually tell your body which type of things you want it to keep. For example, if you just had a very, very heavy meal, you can tell your body, I don't want you to digest all of that. I don't need all of that. I just overindulged myself because I had, a bandage of my emotional suffering that I just took out on chocolate and stuff like that. Imagine all these things that you can just say, and when you practice this and when you do this enough times, it actually becomes a part of your belief systems and you get into the habits, and then you fall in love with your body, you fall in love with your DNA. It's like having a partner. You understand that you are not your body, you're not attached to that entity, to that avatar of who you thought you were, and you understood that the body is just a part of you. And in the end, you start respecting your body. But you learn so much more beyond that, because you learn that with your intention, with your will, and with your focus, you can get so much done. And when you understand that it's not only your body, because your body is what your organs align to, your will and your focus, you understand how much of other things in your life you can actually create. You understand how much you are the manifester of your own reality, which is something that you already know, but on a mental level. There have been done hundreds, if not thousands of placebo experiments. Caffeine effect, for example. They gave students coffee and they told them to measure how much energy they actually have. And they gave other students caffeine-free coffee, for example. And both groups said that they have a lot more energy after they drink their morning coffee. There's so many different things that happen, There's also body safety in DNA. You can actually tell your DNA that you would like it to be safe. You can take very, very deep breaths, because when you take deep breaths, you're actually telling your body that it can be calm and that you are safe. But really, the key here is persistence. You can command your body, okay? But then you won't be treating your body like an associate or like a friend. It's more like please, or it's more like please with a deep knowing that when I persist, that please becomes a command of some sort. So, the key again is to start. Those that actually get to change their body, or those that get to control their body, or those that get to talk to their DNA, are those who try. Not those who just watch another video on YouTube, but those who actually talk to the body. And ask yourself again, what can I talk? What can I control? Can I control my happiness? Yes. Why? Because my body is the one that is exerting the happiness hormones. Can I control my weight? Yes. My body is the one that controls my metabolism, for example. And of course, there's a lot of other examples. So my friends, thank you very much for staying all the way to the end. If you have tried this method, please write down a comment or ask me anything down here. Namaste, and I will see you in my next video.